And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at a bipartisan effort at the state capitol to crack down on sex trafficking. My guest this segment is Bob Huff, the Senate Minority Leader. Thank you very much for being with us.
Great to be here, Steve.
You know, it's hard for a lot of people to get their hands around this issue, especially if they're kind of cloistered and don't see it in front of them a lot. But we're talking about a $32 billion international industry.
And I didn't realize it was such a big deal. You hear about it anecdotally, but it really brought it home when Supervisor Don Knabe in LA County wanted us to carry some legislation addressing that, and lo and behold, we have an issue right in my district in Yorba Linda where this young lady was murdered in an upscale community, and she had been previously arrested, and they said she was a victim of sex trafficking.
And this involved, I gather, a gang? I mean, a sex trafficking gang.
Well, they don't know. They're checking everything out right now, and they're still not sure. The John was actually in jail on another, not the John, excuse me, the pimp, the person that was using her, was in jail on another charge. So they're still figuring out all this stuff. But the point is that this is something that reaches into our backyards, our neighborhoods. It's not just the seedy parts of town where this is taking place.
And the most vulnerable, I gather, are young women, most of them runaways. They're not kidnapped, some are, but most of them are just runaways and then they're snatched up.
They say over half of these people, I don't remember the exact statistic, started off in social services. So, you know, they come from tough backgrounds. They come from foster homes. They are people, young girls, looking for love and affection. And sadly, they find it in all the wrong places. And they have some pimp that, you know, tells them, I love you more than life itself, and pretty soon they find themselves living out a lifestyle that nobody ever imagines as a young girl that's what they want to grow up to be.
As you know, a couple of years ago there was a measure on the California ballot approved overwhelmingly by the voters that increased penalties for sex trafficking. But I gather you and other members of the legislature don't feel that that's enough.
The legislation that's been in the past tends to focus on what we would call the victims. These are the young girls that find themselves in prostitution, and instead we're going to be going after the Johns. So my bill would actually tighten up the penalties. So the first offense would be a wobbler, meaning it could be a misdemeanor or a felony left up to the judge, but the second time it'd be a felony. That's a pretty serious charge. Because right now, one of the examples is that if you're 50-year-old and have sex with a 14-year-old, you know, you go to jail. If you're 50 years old and you pay the girl $50, then you get a slap on the wrist. That's patently not fair.
So you want to go after the Johns?
Absolutely, because it's on the demand side that, you know, I think it's normal to have sexual desires in healthy adults, but when we focus those on kids, that's absolutely wrong, and society has to draw a very strong line.
And if somehow you can quell the desire, or the demand, then perhaps the supply would dry up.
That is the hope.
Yeah. There's another bill that I know you're a co-author of, which deals with wiretaps, giving law enforcement more tools.
Yeah, right now we allow wiretapping for drug activity, for organized crime, for felony activities. We don't have anything like that, so this bill is something that a bipartisan group is co-authoring also to allow sexual trafficking to be a subject where wiretapping, where it's suspected, can be used also to help go after the perpetrators of this.
Now, these are both new bills, so they
Correct.
haven't even started the committee process or debates or anything
Correct.
like that. So yes, you still have to get through some pretty tough committees, though.
Yes, and there will be a number of bills that'll be this bipartisan package, as I say,
Right.
but we want to go after the Johns. We want to cut the the demand side out.
All right. Senator Bob Huff, thank you very much for coming by and talking about this issue. We'll certainly watch its progress in the months ahead.
Very good.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, also on My Government On Demand. Have a great day.